I do not get it when people say they're bored, because I don't get to be bored. Um, I think being bored is a personal problem, stemming from the fact that you are innately a boring person. Um, there are just too many things to see and do in this world to ever be bored. Um, and too many interesting things always happening. And I had an interesting day. I would have loved to have been bored. um, but my day started off pretty good. You know, I got up early to run some errands, and my vehicle gave no signs that it was having any trouble of any kind. Um, I have a 99 Ford Explorer. Um, I mean, everything seemed fine. Um, and I wanted to meet the home inspector at the house we're attempting to buy for the inspection. Now, it's not required that I be there. He can do the inspection without me, and he did, because I didn't make it. um, I should have been able to get there at the same time he was planning to be there, be present for the inspection, to be able to ask questions about anything he might have found. Um, and and then from there, I still should have had time to go home and get ready for work. Come back to the apartment here. But I didn't make it there, and I broke down basically in the middle of nowhere, severely in the middle of nowhere. Um, I broke down north of what they call Searchlight. It's a small town. I think it qualifies as a town. Anywho, and it was just early afternoon when I broke down. I had my cell phone with me, thank goodness, but it was not fully charged. And I started making phone calls. I tried to call home to my daughter to speak to her, but she didn't answer her phone, so when she got a grumpy message from me. Um, and and I had to call AAA. One of the best investments I have made is to keep an active AAA account. Um, there might be a year or two where it doesn't get used, nothing goes wrong, and but um, when something does go wrong, I have been grateful to have it, and that was definitely the case today. But like I said, I was in the middle of nowhere. They were having trouble locating me. There were no mile markers to say, hey, I'm between mile marker this or mile marker that, or I'm at mile marker this or that. All I could give was my best approximate for my location. So I was sitting there at the side of a highway, luckily safely off the side, and plenty of room between me and passing traffic. I broke down about 2:40, and The tow truck didn't make it to me till about five something. I think it was after 5. So that was, over 3 hours of sitting there, unable to do anything, because my vehicle was not functioning properly, which was really it. And the whole time, no lights came on to indicate anything was wrong or that there was a problem. No check engine light, no overheating, no nothing to indicate what's going wrong. Why am I suddenly unable to drive at a normal speed, or accelerate, and why am I suddenly backfiring? Popping noises, the backfiring, which is really scared the heck out of me. So and but they finally made it to me. By the time they're getting to me, my phone is going dead. But they had located a AAA certified auto center, and we got there just as they were closing. So basically, I just got to quickly fill out some paperwork for my vehicle to be there and for them to start on it, to take a look at it in the morning when they come in. And that was it. And the AAA guy has to get back. He can't bring me all the way home. For some reason, they sent him up from Arizona. And all he has permission to do is drive me to the dealership not the dealership, the auto repair place that they found for me. And of course they're all going home, and I'm trying to get a hold of somebody, something to come get me, and this is one of the downsides to living someplace where you really don't have any other relatives much beyond yourself. There was nobody for me to call and say, can you come get me, and bring me home. Cherokee was here, but Cherokee doesn't drive. I've got the only vehicle we have anyway, so even at this point, even if she was driving, there was no vehicle for her to come and get me with, unless she could have gotten her hands on a rental, which is a possibility because there are plenty of rental car places because of the airport. But and I barely got to speak to her for a minute before and I couldn't really talk to her or tell her anything because my phone is going dead, and I'm trying to locate either a taxi cab company or Uber Lyft, somebody come get me, please. I finally found a number for a taxi cab service, and they're like, oh, it's gonna be like an hour before somebody can get there, and then my phone dies while I'm waiting for somebody to show up. As a matter of fact, it got to ring once, which I was sure it was like the taxi cab service, because they were like, if you don't answer your phone, we're not going to come get you. What do people who don't have a phone do when they need a taxi or Lyft someplace, And the first woman I spoke to, her attitude was horrible. And she's telling me all this stuff and I'm going, listen, you're eating up my phone power telling me this when you need to get me somebody here. Just please get me a ride. And So my phone gets to ring once and goes dead. Luckily I was next to the shop where my car got left. There was a Jack in the Box, and they were really awesome and helpful. A girl there, helped me find phone numbers, and and they let me use their phone after my phone died. So grateful to them. I'm sure they have no clue how grateful I am for their assistance. But so their phone died. I'm calling the taxi cab company because at this point that's my only option, because Uber, you have to set up some kind of account online, and I couldn't get my phone to work because it was dying. So that is something that is distressing. I mean, and then the taxi cab company says, yes, that was us trying to call you. We're going to need $100 cash deposit to pick you up, to come out there to pick you up where you're at. Because, I'm not all the way out in the middle of nowhere anymore. The tow truck got me as far as Boulder City. But I'm still, a good ways from home, way too far to be attempting to walk. And I'm like, what? I've got a debit card and I've got a credit card, and the debit card is just like cash. So what's I don't understand what the problem is. And worst comes, and push comes to shove, sorry, lady, we're not coming to get you because you don't have $100, on you. I'm not somebody who walks around with cash. And usually when I do have cash on me, it's very little. It's maybe a couple of bucks, and some change, $5, maybe $10 sometimes. The only thing I keep any type of cash for is I keep a couple of rolls of quarters in the apartment for doing clothes in our laundry room. That's it. I'm not walking around with cash on me. And why I would be walking around with $100 in cash on me, is beyond me. Maybe some people do and are comfortable with that. I'm not. I'm not comfortable with that. So, but one of the girls that was at the Jack in the Box was kind enough to explain to me, it's about a block away, there is a bus stop and there's a CVS pharmacy. If you go in there, buy something, of course you can get some cash back. And explained to me that like $2 is like one way on the bus, and $5 will get me like a 24-hour pass, a day pass. It might sound like I'm a really unlucky person sometimes, and I've been told, I don't know how many times, that if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. But things go wrong for everybody from time to time, and that's just it. And that may have seemed like a bad time for things to, the car to just kind of conk out in between, my destination and the city, in the middle of nowhere. There was like nothing. It turned out I wasn't too far from there's a solar power station. I hadn't even realized I had passed it. But after, I think I had more luck with me than anything, because as I was walking to find the bus stop in the CVS, I saw there was a bus sitting at the bus stop. It said it was at that moment not in service. I guess he was on a break or something. And all I could do was, please be there when I come out of this CVS, or I'll be sitting here at this bus stop waiting for the next one. Went into the CVS and got a little cash so that I could catch this bus. And so instead of spending a couple of $100 with a taxi cab service with rude people, $5 to get a day pass because I wasn't sure, how many buses I would need, and apparently they don't do they don't have transfers here. They don't do a transfer. So if you need to switch buses, you either need to pay $2 every time you switch the bus, or have a day pass like I got. And that bus brought me all the way back into Las Vegas to the terminal, where I caught a second bus and dropped me off right in front of the UNLV, and where I could, finish walking home, barely a block from my house. And my poor Cherokee, sitting here by herself for hours, knowing that I broke down and that I'm trying to get home, with no way to contact me because my phone is dead. I can't contact her and check on her and assure her that I'm okay. She's sitting outside that door right there in one of our lawn chairs, waiting for me. Scared. And, she tried to ask a couple of neighbors for some help. One of them slammed the door right in her face. I don't want any. One of them pretended he didn't speak English. And I know she speaks a teeny bit of Spanish, probably, but not much more than I do. All I know, I don't play swear words in Spanish, but my poor baby, sitting there waiting for me for hours, worried about her mom. And like I said, I left. It was early afternoon, but it was way past dark when I finally got dropped off. It was 9:30 at night. And, the taxi cab service was just about trying to get home in a reasonable amount of time. Not that I wanted to spend that much money to get home, but just trying to get home in a reasonable amount of time. Maybe home in enough time to still make it to work. Because that would have been my next goal if I had gotten home in a reasonable amount of time. Was I would still want to try and go to work. But I luckily, before my phone did die, I called in and let the manager on duty know that I was pretty sure I wasn't gonna make it, into work tonight, and they didn't, and I'm so exhausted. Just the emotions that you're going through, you find yourself stranded and with nobody you can really call for help, and all you can do is I called AAA, but all I can do is wait for him, and then once he gets me to where he's allowed to take me, then I gotta figure out the rest myself. And the only thing Cherokee was sure of was that where there was a will, there's a way, and Mom has a lot of will and has a tendency to make a way sometimes, even when there seems like there shouldn't be one, or the way is very difficult. She was just confident in my resourcefulness, but to come home and see her sitting there like that, and just the biggest hug, and she was crying and I was crying, and there in a moment like that, where you have spent basically the whole day scared and worried, you just almost don't want to let go of each other. You just don't, and we probably shouldn't have done it, but I hadn't eaten for hours. I had eaten before I left. I had lunch, but by this time I have missed dinner and everything else, and she was so worried. She wasn't trying to eat either. And of course, so we walked over to 7-Eleven and bought a pizza from there. Pizza's technically kind of a big no-no, but yeah, we had a hard day. We deserve to eat something we really want to eat. Yeah. Oh, and of course I gave her one of the chocolate bars I bought at the CVS to get cash. Here, look, I got dark chocolate for you, honey. But yeah, I just had really, besides my phone and a few essentials, just had this bag with me, and the bottle of water I had with me was empty long before the truck arrived, the tow truck. Luckily, he had about bottles of water with him. And of course, I was able to get a drink at the Jack in the Box as well. So that was basically it, just some liquids, to worry about other things to think about. Yeah, I'm at a restaurant, maybe I should get something to eat, but I wasn't concerned with food. I was concerned on how do I get home. I gotta get home. And what a day. Boring. How can anybody be bored? I would so love to be bored. So tomorrow morning, I guess, if they don't call me right away about my truck, I'll call them to see, what is wrong with my vehicle. How fixable is it? I've decided we definitely need a second vehicle, and Cherokee needs to learn how to drive. I know she doesn't want to, but she needs to, because if she knew how to drive, even if she had to get a rental car to come get me, she could have come and got me. And she was trying to figure out how to at least, she get an Uber there and back, if nothing else. But yeah, I had a very long bus ride, saw some things I hadn't seen yet. Don't know if I'll ever see them again. I can tell you that, what is it? What's that city's name again? Oh my gosh, I got where my car is. It seemed like a nice little city. But, this is, on the upside, the inspection of the house that I didn't make it for went well. I did get to take a look at that. He had it ready and to view for me, and in my email, by the time I got home. So, I wasn't expecting it to be ready until at least tomorrow morning. So, I'm really looking forward, excited about this, and yeah, that's kind of a downside when you choose a home that's kind of out there, that you run the risk of breaking down in the middle of nowhere. I guess I'm going to count it lucky that it happened before I actually moved into the house, and count it as it's done, and I don't think it'll happen again. But because definitely on the list of things is to get a second vehicle, definitely something that's newer and more fuel economical than the Explorer. And maybe it might be time to replace the Explorer too. So one thing at a time, one day at a time, and that's all you can do. One foot in the other, in front of the other. I'm exhausted, but I'm still kicking. I'm still here, and I'm still pushing forward. And some days that's all you can do is just keep pushing forward. But hi, friends and family. We love you. We miss you. And peace.